Hello, everyone. Hi.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon. Good morning. Good everything and everyone. It's
Good evening. It's about
what time is it
9:30 p.m.
there? So PM. So that puts you in. Wait, let me do my math.
Europe.
Yeah.
Somewhere in Europe.
How far east? Oh, hello. Hi. Are we waiting for anybody else, or should we introduce ourselves and go into our stories yet?
Hello.
Hello. I'm having to use actually two monitors because my laptop decided to wake up and start flickering at me. So when I look at all of you, I see you in so many in multiples when I look straight at the screen, and when I look this way, I look like I'm looking to the side. But that's probably all for auras coming right through at me. Let me just have you. I'm really grateful to be here. I'll circle back to me. I'm Lubna, obviously, but will do my level best to deliver on hosting this the friendly open roundtable. With the first time, actually, many of us or most of us meeting each other. Venus, I'm going to ask you to start with your introduction and what attracts you to GatherVerse and what you would like out of this session or would like to leave out of this to everyone from here. And I think if we see each other in the same order, then Tracy and Maria, Lala, and then we'll see where our conversation takes us. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Venus Raquel. I am a herbalist and emerging technologist. Really into culture, self-sufficiency, and traveling. So I go around the world. I partner with global agriculturists to tell the stories of their harvest, how they use different herbs and different plants in their cultures. So I do that with EthnoTrot, and soon we'll be emerging into extended reality.
Wow.
What brings me to GatherVerse is I actually was connected with Chris back in 2021 through the Black Technology Mentorship Program. So from the pandemic, I just kind of stayed in touch and been following the journey.
I love it. And I love your name.
Thank you. And nice to meet you all.
Tracy?
Good afternoon. It's nice to be here. Thank you for having me on the panel. I'm currently in Atlanta, Georgia, but I am a diplomat serving in Gabon in West Africa generally. I just happen to be in the States right now. But I am a consultant. My background is a bit unconventional in that I've been in mostly male-dominated fields as a federal agent and then later as a counterterrorism instructor. And I really am drawn to sharing anytime I can with women how important it is to have a voice, to take a seat at the table. And I came to GatherVerse through a platform called Innovation Women, where I'm a public speaker. I really enjoy speaking with women and advocating, especially for the younger generation, to ensure that they have mentors in this space.
Oh my God, I love it. What a treat. What a treat. Maria?
Hi all. Nice to meet you all, and thank you for inviting me today. I'm Maria. I'm co-founder and CEO of a startup called Volhel, and we began our journey about 4 years ago in the metaverse space, and about 2 years ago we shifted into AI, and now we're building this product called Hilda. And I like to say that this is my 9-to-5 job, although for everybody that's been in the startup world knows that this is a 24/7 type of thing. But beside that, in my spare time, which I often try to find. I'm also a career reframing counselor, a role in which I help teenagers and people, from teenagers to people in their 50s, to find their career path and change their career in alignment to their true self and their inner authenticity. As Tracy was mentioning before, I also come from a male dominated world. I used to work a lot in construction and project management. And what brought me here today is actually one of the mentors from the career reframing path. She was also a speaker, I think 2 nights ago. And I just saw this and I found about GatherVerse, and I was like, no, I need to join this this community. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
It's such an amazing organic community. It is a lot of credit to Chris. Okay. I don't want to mess up your name. Effie?
Hello everyone, I'm Ifi Yunan. I'm a product designer by profession, and until last year I branched off and became a founder. So right now I run a startup in the healthcare industry called Kilele Bracelets. So I'm an advocate for women in tech, and coming from a mainly male-dominated background, I try to advocate for women and their spaces in this industry. I've I mostly work in the intersection between design, product management, and technology, and I focus on creating impactful solutions for underserved communities. Yes, the reason I'm here is because I've been following GatherVerse for a while. Their mission of humanizing technology resonates very strongly with me. So I connected with Christopher a while ago on LinkedIn, and ever since I've been following GatherVerse, and when it came to time to speak at this really impactful summit, I thought, why not? So I'm really looking forward to hearing your perspectives and getting to know your opinion on these very impactful topics. Thank you.
And where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from Nairobi, Kenya.
Kenya. Wow, cool. Cool. Jennifer.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you are in the Philippines, in the world rather. I'm from the Philippines, and it's 3:05, 3:25 a.m. here. And it's such a pleasure to be with you here, ladies. And I'm also looking forward to hearing insights and your perspectives. I am Jennifer, and for the last 18 years, I have worked with multinationals, with matrix organizations, helping them optimize their processes. So my background is in human resources and organization development. However, when the pandemic hit, and I'm pretty sure that most of us, if not all of us, were affected, together with other friends from Canada, South Africa, in the USA, we decided to build our own economy, and we are creating a diversity board game, which is aimed at bridging communication through diversity. And in one of my roles, I am the digital content producer and host of the Disruptors Hour on the new channel. It is an alternative media platform that is available in 17 platforms, including LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and others. We deep dive on topics of leadership, change management, and innovation disruption.
Wow.
So my
Did you call it a
yes,
game?
Lubna.
Did you call it a game before, or it's a platform though?
Oh yeah. Sorry for the confusion.
No, no
So,
confusion. Interesting.
in one of my roles, I am the digital content producer of the Disruptors Hour. So it's a digital platform
Mm.
where we have people from all backgrounds, from different continents and different time zones, where we deep dive on the topics of leadership, innovation, disruption. So I advocate for women telling their own stories in their own words because unfortunately, sometimes some of these stories can be misrepresented. So we want to have people telling their stories in their own words.
Oh, cool. Thank you. So,
Thank you.
um, who's next? Dr. Adetola? Am I saying it right? If you can unmute, or Martha, I think she dropped. Jennifer, you met also Chris through LinkedIn, and
Yes, I did. When he invited me to join this GatherVerse summit, I said, "Oh, I wouldn't pass it up for the world because I want to connect with more women around the world. Because when women connect, we make changes. And I believe that just like the women's suffrage, the movement many years before made a collective impact, GatherVerse is also making a collective impact, connecting. Imagine this one being us being here in one digital space.
it's yes, it's a manifestation of a vision. Judith, maybe can you unmute, or and then Martha after maybe, and then we'll see. Hi.
Yes, it's already evening here. So, good evening, and wherever you're connecting from. My name is Judith, and I'm a Nigerian, but currently I'm connecting from the UK. So, my background has been since the age of 9. I've been into humanitarian service. So, that was when I started advocating for children in orphanage homes and trying to kind of support them to have a very livelihood. And afterwards, I had my charity at the age of 19. So we advocate for the girl child and empower women and communities to maximize their full potentials. So coming to GatherVerse this year is quite a long-waited event for me because, given the topic about women's story, I was like, yeah, I'm going to be here, share my own perspective and listen to stories from the diverse world, people connecting from different parts of the world, learning more and to know how we can incorporate that to what we are doing and how that can influence the policies and advocate more for women out there. Thank you very much.
I love it. I love it. Martha, and then hopefully we'll be able to unmute Doctor at the end. Martha?
Okay, thank you so much. So, hi everyone. My name is Martha. I am tuning in from Nairobi, Kenya. It's evening on my end. I hope you are all well. So, a brief story about me. I am a data protection and cybersecurity GLC expert. Actually, I am a career transitioner. So, I transitioned from risk and compliance. Well, I started out in accounting, forensic accounting, went into risk and compliance, and then now got myself into cybersecurity. And honestly, it feels like I'm finally where I'm supposed to be. It's like I finally made sense of my life. And one thing is that I have been a product of women mentorship. So when Lynn reached out for me to speak here and to be part of telling my story, I was like, yes, definitely. Because one thing about me is that
becoming who I am now, changing careers, navigating through. Anybody who has changed careers knows how hard it is to navigate as a career transitioner. Women have been so instrumental, and even to date, I'm still under mentorship of women in the tech industry. So I'm so happy to be here and very glad to be meeting you, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. And super impressive. I have some security background. We'll have to chat on that at some point as well.
Yes, please.
So, last but not least, before I go, can you unmute Dr. Adetola? I'm so hoping to didn't mess up your name. Can you try and unmute, or we have trouble with your audio? Okay, so a little bit more about me. I'm Lubna Dajani. My educational background is in systems analysis and design and interactive telecommunications. I actually didn't realize how cool of a degree that was because, you know, it was from the 80s. But since I studied Unix as a distributed operating system, it's really distributed systems. And I blame my career on, since we're telling our stories, on either the Jetsons or Tron. I'm not sure which, but I always thought, since I was originally going to be a doctor, since I decided I will help people with their external systems, not their internal systems. And I had this vision, everybody's going to have a computer. I think like Tron and the Jetsons, or maybe like the Jetsons. And when I saw Tron, I was convinced. And when I got introduced to Unix, the whole thing became a reality in my mind. This hyper-connectedness. So I've been writing, talking, and working on all different, across different technologies that were bleeding edge at the time to demonstrate their viability in the market, and then shifted to bringing industries together and players in the market together that needed to come together for this digital realm to come together, like the telcos together with the internet companies, together with the brands, et cetera, and all the agreements, the roaming, the charge, blah, blah, all the plumbing, so to speak. So now I contribute a lot of my time and effort to, I do a lot of coaching, I do a lot of mentoring through whether it's SOS or it's all sorts of investments, accelerators, incubators, and others like grants from the EU. But more importantly, I contribute to several ethical standards in AI, human and in human machine team. We see it starts like blah, blah, blah. So my interest now, in brief, is shifting to how we apply technology to ensure that we reset the trajectory of humanity to one that is of love and kindness, of compassion, of understanding, of all the things that I'm so grateful that all of you are founded in, and it takes that feminine energy. So I'm very grateful to be here. I'm very grateful to be around all of you because I hope that, from my point, that I want to help everyone make their dream come true, which will make mine come true. And I feel that we can compete to complete each other's work and fill the gaps. So, when I hear, as I'm listening to all of you introduce yourselves, I'm like getting, oh my God, and we can do this. So anybody who wants to carry on further and connecting the dots so that we can actually affect the change that we are more than able to do. And there are enough of us now. And thanks to GatherVerse, enough of us are being brought together where we can actually redirect where we place emphasis, how we measure value in society, so that we can achieve everything we're talking about. So with that, I want to know who wants to take the baton from here, because this is about us, and this is what I'm putting out to you all. With love and gratitude.
Well, Lubna, thank you. I think what you said about bringing feminine energy to this space, especially as we shape artificial intelligence, it's so important that we feed a perspective of kindness into these tools so that they're respectful and that they have positive examples of the content that's fed into them.
Totally agree. I also think it's an opportunity for us to take a good look at how we're handling ourselves, and our own ethos as companies. I mean, what are we teaching? I wonder, do we teach it our economic models, where we play, how are we providing a sound example for where the priorities are? I mean, still fiduciary responsibility is to profitability, yeah? But I think many of you are working for people and planet over profits. Tracy, you said you're a federal agent, right?
Yes, formerly I was.
How do we affect change across our systems? Because if we really want to change the trajectory, we have to change across all systems. Tuning, dialing up or down. How do we affect change across our federal systems and governments, for example?
Absolutely. Well, I think it starts with governments and corporations appointing women to positions where they have a voice, they have authority, they're able to hire and mentor other women in that workplace and to affect real change. And you will see this positively. I have a personal example that in Gabon, which tends to be, as many African countries, that there are mostly men in the administration, that the State Department often appoints women as ambassadors to represent the U.S. Embassy and the United States government as an example, to show we put women in positions of power.
What can we do to further empower? And this question is to all of you, to further to empower us such that we move from saying it to demonstrating it.
If I may intervene here. So what I'm trying to do in my own space is get more women into tech and into Web3 and blockchain. I advocate a lot for this. So I actually put out in the beginning. I used to put out job description like females used to target and make sure that I get many females on the interview. And then this is on one part. On the other part, on the career coaching part, whenever I meet with women that are telling me that they are looking to shift their career, I also encourage them to look into roles into tech or some roles that now are male dominated. And I always tell them that you don't need to be a developer or to have those technical skills. There's other jobs in the tech industry. So when I came into this role, I came as a project manager. So I didn't have all the tech knowledge. Okay, I put in the work to learn all of that, but you don't have to have it from the start. So just take a leap of faith, do that, go towards those roles and just be brave, just take a leap of faith. So yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to encourage also other women to come into this space.
Yes, and just go ahead.
Oh yeah, I would like to contribute to the conversation. What I think needs to happen in government is we need to rewrite those books, that they're going by. So we have all these policies and we're often told, oh, this is the way things have been done, as if that's the way they have to be done. So I think we talk about storytelling a little bit in our conversation thus far, sharing our stories as women. I think that storytelling factor will go really far because it's going to evoke emotion in other people to encourage that behavior change. Because as humans, we're empathetic beings. So when there's this sense of understanding it breeds compassion, a closeness. And now you're like, oh, okay, I get where you're coming from. And now there's unity. So I think if we could find a way to get our message and our stories amplified, like on this stage, like we're doing right now, that can encourage a behavior change within corporations, within government, and, just globally, a whole societal shift.
Yes. I
would like to go.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. So just to add on what Raquel said, I hope I pronounced your name right. Another thing we can also consider is intergenerational mentorship. Okay, we have women who are already in these positions, and definitely it took them time, a lot of work for them to get there. And then we also have now the women who are coming in, technically more of the women who will replace these women, right? The women who are also supposed to take over in a much bigger dimension, bigger than the women who are there before. So having that intergenerational mentorship, we can learn from the women who have been there, from the pioneers, learn from their mistakes, learn from their triumph, learn from the actions that they put in, learn what to change, how to navigate, how to deal with things. So I also think intergenerational mentorship will also go a great deal into creating like a continuation of the work that our pioneers started. Thank you.
Yes, indeed. So I'm hearing you also having a pass it forward kind of a model implemented. So that as we learn and earn, we share with more people.
If I may add to that, I would love to suggest also, I think we focus a lot on mentoring women in the workplace, which is so important, and maybe even college students, high school students, as these women are rising and looking at their careers. But I would say really the respect and kindness that we could teach women could start as early as middle school. If you have the opportunity to go in and speak to young girls at a time where they're so competitive and they can be quite mean to each other, and teach them really young, before they even get into their sort of career path funnel, that if we can just not judge one another as women, to be kind, and there's room for all of us. The competition, one woman rises, we all rise together. It is more important to turn around and help the woman come up the corporate ladder behind you than to be bumping her off the stage,
Yeah, and I'd say I think younger women are experiencing that probably a little bit less. And I can tell you in my time, because I have been in a male-dominated career, and I come from the Middle East in America. I mean, like, talk about having, I tick so many whammy boxes. It's not funny. And I was talking about distributed and innovation. I mean, in the late 80s and 90s, I was completely against the current. So I have all the scars. But I think it's so much better now than it was. But we still have a lot of that intergenerational trauma of having been taught to fight against each other, compete for something. And this is, for the man or for the whatever resources. And this is the mindset shift that that it takes that feminine energy to make inside, I believe, which is that we are beings on this earth, on this one earth, and our well-being is in the well-being of each other. And to love each other, we have to love oneself. And I think we have the capacity to make that shift. And if we make that shift, there's enough of us now that can stand to compete, to complete each other's mission to this place of peaceful, like joy. I mean, being present, and we are in bliss. So this is what we need to do, I think. And I think that's what I'm hearing you all say.
I'm sorry to hear about what you've said, Luvna, the intergenerational trauma you suffered.
I
many
mean, I
years
can
ago,
say
right?
women suffer intergenerational trauma.
Yes,
All
yes.
women.
I'm
Remember, it
so
wasn't
sorry to hear.
that women were the property of men, even in the
Mm,
developed world, right? So let's not forget that.
mm, mm.
Yeah,
And I
so
totally agree with you. We should treat each other with respect, with love, and compassion. And I also agree with Tracy. We need to teach the high schoolers, mid schoolers, how to be supportive of each other. I think that can begin with being relatable, that we have the same struggles, we have the same stories of triumph, hope, and perseverance. And how can we do that? Perhaps by preserving and documenting stories of women who have suffered and who have been able to overcome these struggles. So, how can we do this? By perhaps preserving these stories through documentaries, preserving this through history books. We must acknowledge the sacrifices that they made, and we must also recognize the progress that we are already making and achieving. So many women have impacted history. I'm not very proud of it, but it's only recently that I have watched the movie Hidden Figures. It's the story of three women mathematicians who helped NASA during the space race. So we need more stories like this, because bringing stories like this of powerful women, some of them coming from underprivileged backgrounds, suffering from economic disparities. This, by bringing their stories to light, we honor their contributions and we provide role models for future generations. But then again, we need not be complacent, because again, we as women, like this GatherVerse Summit, where we gather women from different backgrounds, different experiences, we have some insights that we can share to the young ones, to the emerging leaders, so that they too can pave the way to a more loving, more compassionate, more respectful, and truthful future.
I love it. I would only extend that young ones and older. Really, I would eliminate the whole age barrier just for all people, because it's
Can I
yeah.
interject to that?
Yes, please.
Yes, yes. Okay. Good evening. Yes, my name is Dr. Adetola Salau. I apologize. I've been having severe network connectivity issues. So I'm a policymaker in Nigeria, and I in education, and I've been in on the education space for over 20 years, over 2 decades now. And yes, I started with working with middle schoolers. So when I was hearing her talk about working with middle schoolers and bringing them up, it reminded me of a time when I was teaching middle school. And I used to make it a deliberate point to celebrate the history months, February Black History Month, talk about Black scientists, Black mathematicians, Women's History Month, March, talk about the well, I went to a female only college, so it was very easy for me to find a lot of data and stories about women scientists, women historians, women who had achieved a lot of grades. It was really, really easy. And I happened to have a mom who also was a first in our country here. My mom is the first female meteorologist in Nigeria here. So I grew up with someone like that who taught me that there were no barriers and I could do anything, and I should push myself. So it was easy to have that. And I wanted to create that space in the classroom. So I agree that we have to do that in the classrooms. But I also believe that each of us too has the, well, I don't know, I think I'll say, as she said, the burden of also helping our young ones, whether when we are at events like this, conferences, when we are speaking to them informally, tell them stories, tell them about your own struggles. Let them see what it had, the trajectory. There you go. Let them see the trajectory you had taken. You'll be amazed how inspiring that will be to these young women. I just wanted to make sure that I put that out there. Thank you.
Can I add on that?
Oh, sorry.
So I think it's really important for us to be able to tell our own stories, And it's been really empowering because we're in a generation where people are able to tell their own stories to really big audiences using simple tools like a phone. If you have a phone, you have social media, you can really be able to put your story out. So what we can also do is to empower women to be able to tell their stories and to be able to share experiences, because that's one way of making of empowering women in the society. Like I'd say in my country, we've had a recent case of stories going viral, like a lady facing gender-based violence and similar issues. She was able to talk about her experience on a podcast, and the podcast went viral, and lots of people in the country had it. And because of that, other ladies who face gender-based violence are coming out, and people are becoming very aware of what is going on in behind closed doors. And traditionally, these are things that no one would have ever spoken about. These are things that would have been swept under the rug, and no one would have really heard about these stories. But by being able to share every lady's experience, we are able to really advance really quickly, and we are able to support each other as women, because what one person has faced, maybe someone else is facing, and maybe someone else has the knowledge that can really help us solve these social problems. Yeah, that's my take on that.
I wanted to see if this would be a good time for me to interject. I'm sorry that I came late, but I can also wait or just talk in the chat. Okay, good. Hi, I'm so sorry. I completely messed up the time change. I am in Maryland, Baltimore to be specific. I'm so delighted to be here, so gracious to be given this platform. And I always like to start by honoring my late father, who I lost in 2019, who is the reason I do this work. So my name is Chris Locust. My pronouns are they, she, and I humbly and graciously work as the Transition Age Youth Coordinator for On Our Own of Maryland, which is a peer-operated nonprofit that serves all of the folks in Maryland, and we really work to help the helpers. So I myself am somebody with lived experience, and so when you were talking about that, I'm sorry, I can't see your name. It's a little small on my end, but when you were talking about that, that really resonated with me. And so we use that lived experience to support others. And me specifically, I support young adults 18 to 29 to advocate for the type of care they deserve to receive across various systems. And so I pay young adults to be on the panels, to go to the conferences, to be on the committees and the councils. I also have my own council. I pay them to come with me to events, to travel with me. We're actually going to Oregon and New Mexico in February and March. And it is the honor of my life that I get to do this work, that I get to show these young people that there is more than one way to be a leader, that as a queer, non-binary Black person, even if my voice shakes or even if I sweat, even though that happens less often nowadays, I still deserve to be here, and we all do. We all deserve to have our voices heard, and it really. I mean, I cannot say enough amazing things about the young adults that I work with, and I'm so grateful because a lot of this work I don't have to do alone. I always lean into community need and community care and what they need, and so I love that I have real shared decision making, and that I'm able to show them that there are other possibilities. So that is me. I am a public speaker. I do free trainings for all organizations. And I genuinely love what I do. I am on everything. Follow me everywhere, LinkedIn, wherever. I'm also on social media, KRIS_LENAY. That's Chris Lenay, where I have finally graciously been able to merge my work life with my personal life. And I've been able to host community drives, events, and really talk about my mantra, which is ease over friction, and allowing us to bring more ease, joy, and comfort into our everyday lives, in every part of our lives, because we deserve it. So thank you all so much. I'm so delighted to meet all of you. I can't wait to connect with you all and bring you in as speakers. Because come on, we need this good juju for our young adults. So that is enough for me. Much love to all of you.
Much. Love you. Love what you're doing. It's amazing what we're all doing. I feel like we're all, and very often this, it's, I don't know if you're musicians, I'd say it's like a whole bunch of musicians who are really good at what they do. They're all playing their own tunes on their own. And then somehow we come together and it becomes a jam. And I feel like now we're starting to come together in not just jams, but now we're coming closer and closer. We can make amazing symphonies. This when we harmonize our efforts, because I think it feels to me, at least being in this space, that we are definitely all coming from the same heart vibration, which is foundational to being able to make that shift. So I'm grateful for that. I heard so many ideas that we can action after this. From affecting policy change at the policy level to creating a documentary that captures the stories. And I think what I also heard is we'll make that documentary complemented by maybe a book or two and a program that doesn't only go to high schoolers or adults or corporates, but trickles all the way down to even preschool, and I think even at the very formative years, so from K and pre-K, when the kids are playing, so that we eliminate the need to correct the bad framing we create when we say girls wear pink and boys wear blue, and you play with this and you do that. So it'd be great fun to it seems that amongst ourselves we had all that it takes. I'm super grateful to GatherVerse. I think we're going to be running out of time very soon, so I wanted to make sure that everybody has anything else. I mean, I would love to invite us all to come together and again and explore collaborations. Myself, I'm working now on a festival that is a summit and a festival around autism and addressing the root causes that affect many other things that are that can be addressed and highlighted through this topic, and what across as a disciplinary multi-sector. So anybody who's interested in the topic, I'm happy to collaborate. And I will love to just ask you each to follow so I don't have to call out. Just step in and say your closing remark. And for me, thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you. And thank you, Chris, for bringing us together. So please go ahead.
Lubna, thank you. It has been a pleasure. I'm so inspired by all of you and your stories and the work that you're doing. And I think the more we can just continue to go out in the world and bring awareness to the challenges that are facing women and trying to affect positive change, it just, the power of one. So we're stronger together. Thank you.
Yes, it's been a pleasure hearing all of your stories and your experiences. Super inspiring. And I just like to give one more sentiment about the youth, and that is gatekeeping does nothing for our youth. When you invest in a young person, you're investing in the future, and them being successful is the return on that investment. So with that, I look forward to connecting with all of you and all of you in the audience. May our gather be well. I think it was.
Thank you for
so
sharing
much,
your story.
ladies.
Thank you so much. May the light you give to others always find each of you, my friends. Much love to all of you. Oh, that was Chris, by the way. I'm frozen, but it's me.
Okay. Okay. If I can go. So thank you so much, ladies. What I gathered from all your story was definitely resilience and determination. And I think if we can leave something to our audience and future generation is like, let's embrace our challenges, let's always keep and stay curious, and let's bring on the change. So thank you so much for this evening, and I look forward to connecting with you on socials and live, I hope, at other events. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I will let to go. I've been just quiet listening to everyone because one thing I know is that storytelling actually humanizes issues and brings the policies to real life. So it was just nice hearing from you all, and it's going to be a very tangible impact, and it's going to influence the work I do so far. So I'm very happy to connect and looking forward to getting more with you. Thank you.
And
Thank
thank
you.
you for
Hello,
having me
everyone.
be a part of this. It has really, really been inspiring. And I have also learned that each of us should make sure we start telling our stories and inspire those who are coming up behind us with our stories. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
So for me, I'd say it's really important for us to be able to tell our stories, because otherwise they'd be just statistics of the struggles and the challenges we are facing. But when we are able to tell our stories, they're able to be contextualized and humanized in a way that fosters empathy and calls people to action. So thank you so much for having me in this panel, and I look forward to connecting with all of you. Thank you.
I think I think everybody said some, and I'm really
Um,
yes.
for me, yes, for me, I encourage everyone to continue creating environments, safe spaces, virtual or physical, where women can share their stories without fear of judgment, criticism, or harm. Let's continue helping our children learn digital literacy and online safety now that we are moving from physical to digital. I really learned a lot today, and I thank you, ladies, for sharing all your insights, and I look forward to connecting, learning, and growing with you even after this GatherVerse summit.
I don't know, but I'm counting on this documentary that's going to have a book alongside of it and all of your faces. This should be the cover right there.
That would be very lovely.
I think that would make sense, no?
Uh, Maybe I'll just also give a closing remark. I've
Yes.
been, I'm honored to have been part of this gather, and just as Effie has said, let's continue telling our story. Let's have the courage to tell our story, because it's through that women are inspired. And also, let's also rally behind other women and amplify their voices, because as we tell our stories, we are faced with the challenge of our stories being misrepresented or misinterpreted. So as we tell them, as we tell it out to people, let's also rally and amplify the voices of other women. Thank you all. I'm glad to have been here.
Thank you. Thank you all. I think our gather has been more than well, and I think it's the start of something beautiful. Many things are beautiful. Thank you all for being here, and pass it back to you, Chris, and the fabulous GatherVerse team.